And hello, everyone. Welcome to the Real Estate Show on KCMX News Media 880. Pete Belcaster and Joe Brett, the real estate guys, with you today. And thanks for joining us here on our first show of 2019. We're both real estate brokers at John L. Scott in Southern Oregon. You know, we get together with you once a week here on KCMX to talk about all sorts of real estate-related issues and topics. Who better to talk about kick off our year than with a team that is really doing a lot of amazing things in real estate, and that's Karen Toner and Terry Toner, both from the John L. Scott and Medford office. And hey, you guys, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thanks
for having us.
That. Yeah. Absolutely. All right, your road to real estate. We always ask that we got to find out.
About that.
We've had a lot of people on over 10 years on this show, and for most of us, it's a second career kind of thing. So, Terry, Karen, you got on first, right? You started it off. Tell us about that.
Well, I was a stay-at-home mom with our boys, and we wanted them to go to a private middle school. And Terry's job was fantastic, but we knew that we needed more income for that. And I always was helping friends redo their houses and remodel their houses. And he said, "Why don't you get your real estate license?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Okay." So went around and interviewed a bunch of brokers and ended up at John L. Scott. And I told him that I just wanted to buy houses for ourselves to fix up and sell.
Yeah.
And that very first year, I became Rookie of the Year out of 7 offices of John L. Scott. And just having a ton of fun, and then
so Terry then came and joined you, and you guys created the Team Toner, right?
Yep.
And so, what did you think of this, Terry? Your experience with it then?
Well, I was contracting
Okay.
and working mostly days.
Okay.
Never seeing my wife, and I'm like, well, why don't I quit contracting because she was swamped, and now we're together 24/7.
24/7, and bless you for doing that, and actually getting along with it, because a lot of people couldn't do that.
I was just home for 2 weeks.
And we were talking with other husband and wife, couples that have been with us, and Deidre Ripson and
Kurt,
Nick
Nick,
was been here. Of course, Nick is not a broker.
Yeah.
And
builder,
and Don McCoy, our friend, he and Cindy have been in. So and there's many anyway. So it's great that you do that, because it makes a dynamic business.
Yeah.
If you can get along enough, it makes it really interesting and dynamic. Patty Millen is another one that has, and her husband Bob have been in as well. So anyway,
Not always, but a lot of our clients are husbands and wife, and the husband will have mechanical type questions, the wife will have mechanical type questions that I can answer, and some of the things Karen can answer. So it works out good that we're together.
Yeah. So tell us about what happened in 2018 for you and your business, the market. It was really it was a very good year. I mean, if $3 billion plus around, and I think John L. Scott announced that $788 million of that come out of our two offices here. So there's a lot of stuff. Tell us about your experience in 2018. What did you go through?
We have been super busy. Busiest year since the crash, I would say. Don't you?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Very busy this year.
Just tons of people coming up from California.
Yeah.
Okay. So right.
Yeah. Lots of people that are either upsizing or downsizing. Also in the valley.
Within the valley. We talk about that all the time.
A lot of referrals.
So tell me about people coming from out of state. What's your experience with that? Where are they coming from, and what are they buying when they come?
We've had a few from the fires that have happened in the last couple of years.
Okay.
The most recent one was the Camp Fire. Our first experience with that. Very sad.
Devastating.
89 and 85-year-old husband and wife lost everything and had to come up here and find a new house. Their son lives here, which is great.
Yep.
And we found them a house in 4 days while they were looking, and did the inspection today. So,
So you're seeing that effects of the fire.
Oh yeah.
Retirees, is that? I mean, we're here. We see that all the time. Hear about that? Are you seeing that as well coming from out of state in here?
Yeah.
And what are they buying? And are they? Tell us just as you go along in general. I mean, you're talking about general things.
Single family.
Single family.
Yeah. 3-2s mostly.
Large.
Some. 350 to 500 probably is the average that we've been selling this year.
Okay.
A few over 500.
Yeah.
Well, you hit the market exactly when you talk about that, Karen. That, remember, in our market, we've been telling you is that there's 2 markets here in Jackson County. That $500,000 level and above, which is the luxury market, which is a buyer's market versus the 500,000 and below, which is what you're saying, which where most people are into buying, can afford.
Yep.
And if you go lower down there, the 250s, 275s, it's even more so, right?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
That lower market is just multiple offers. Still seeing that.
Yeah, it's hot.
Yep.
But it is trending towards more of a buyer's.
It's
I mean, a seller's market.
It
It's
is
trending more to a seller's market.
in the lower prices, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, it's going to be doing that, and anyway, it's interesting to watch the dynamics of it go. What about certain areas of the valley that are doing better than others? You think the most desirable, or people talked about though as you come?
Yeah.
Jacksonville.
Always Jacksonville.
Always.
Really?
Yep. We have a ton of buyers in Jacksonville. Like we did our Christmas deliveries of our sellers and buyers of last year, and probably 40% of them were in Jacksonville.
Really?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you have the Jacksonville tent, because we
Yeah.
have different people
Yeah.
say different things
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
So what is it about Jacksonville then that?
The culture.
Yeah, the town.
The
It's
walk,
a small town.
yeah,
It doesn't have-
walkability, the dogs everywhere, the food. There's 15 restaurants. The
town.
the town,
Just
the
the
people.
town.
Loves the town.
Yeah.
See, I always think of Ashland that way.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
Yeah.
it is when you think so many people that think
Oh,
of
yeah.
Ashland that same way. Ashland and Jacksonville are pretty close in so many ways.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of price and
Mm-hmm.
exclusivity, I guess. Maybe
They're micro markets in our
Yes.
within the things there. So you guys see a lot of Jacksonville
we started
inquiry.
there.
You start there.
Yeah, we started in Jacksonville with that
Yeah.
little
You guys
office.
did, okay.
Yeah.
So a lot of our referrals come out of that
Okay.
Sure.
beginnings.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
East Medford.
Yep, sell a
Yeah,
lot in there.
very
That's
busy.
the one we just sold on the first day of the year. We
Yeah.
sold one on East Medford.
You did?
Yep.
The new construction going on around. We talk about that a lot. Do you see?
Boy, do we need it.
Yeah, we do.
Well, but are we building the right things? That's I know. That's my thing. Is that are we building the right things
Yeah.
for people?
Well, our folks didn't like anything that we showed them new construction.
No.
The elderly couple that we just showed.
Okay.
Just it was too sterile. It was too gray. They want to go back to the brown tones. I think.
But that was just
that was just
couple.
one
Sure,
couple.
sure, one
Yeah.
couple.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of new construction in East Medford.
Yeah.
Certainly, I hear complaints that they're
Yes.
small lots.
1,600 square
Not
feet.
not very private at all.
Very
kinds of
pricey.
things, and pretty
Very
pricey.
pricey.
400 grand
And 400
for a 1,600 square foot house.
Yeah.
It just
The
didn't make
cost of
sense.
land,
Yep.
it's tough.
Yep.
The
Yep.
cost of building,
Yeah.
contracts, yeah.
And I'm on Aspen Street in Southwest Medford,
Mm-hmm.
where the Ripsom's new development is going in,
Yep.
and they're getting in the mid threes for
Mid-threes.
Yeah, the high
1,500.
twos. Yeah, 1,500 is the biggest ones.
Yep.
And they're right next to each other, and
Yeah.
we need the housing. I understand
Absolutely.
why we're getting houses closer together, because we need to get as many as we can on there. But again,
Yep.
if I'm going to pay $400,000,
Yeah. I want a little elbow room.
that's right. I want to breathe a little
We're
bit.
hearing
but-
that a lot.
Yeah.
I want some
Yep.
elbow room.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Especially if you're coming up from someplace else, and I think
Yeah.
that's
I think
that's
you're
probably
accustomed to
I think
that.
that's going to be a really big issue as we move along. But what's the future? See, Joe's one of these guys. He goes to attends, and believe me, Terry and Karen, you guys would not want to. He attends most of the planning commission meetings in
Oh,
Medford
goodness.
and Jackson
It's my
County.
duty to
Fun.
do so. It's my media duty. to
Fun,
do so.
fun.
So he hears all these development things
Oh,
coming
yes.
up and all this stuff that's
Yeah.
out there, and it's just
But the last 10 years since I've had a license, it's been much more interesting
I bet.
to listen in on those discussions
I bet.
and to see the processes it takes for codes to change and for
Yes.
things like that to happen. And I think we're seeing our municipalities, our cities, trying to accommodate and get some more opportunities for housing to be developed. And then you
Affordable.
get opportunities in Ashland where the neighbors rise up and have delayed the process for months
Oh,
because
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
there's
Not in
too
my
many
backyard.
people
Yep.
too close to me there. So
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
going to have to find some happy mediums, have some middle ground with some of this to accommodate what we know is the need.
hopefully they can find some of those needs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because our housing needs we're not a monolithic 3-bedroom 2-bath house in a society. And have you guys had any experience? We would talk a lot about the additional dwelling unit changes that the ordinances that the cities have made to make it easier to add a unit to it, or to add a tiny house, or to add apartment to your place or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't see much demand. I don't see much happening
There
with
goes
it.
their
Do you?
privacy. There goes your privacy.
Well, but
Yeah.
I understand that if you want that, but I'm just so surprised as we talk about.
We see-
There's just not enough. I don't think there's not enough incentive
Yeah.
for homeowners to add that Maybe right now. Maybe that's why that's not
Well,
happening.
there's a lot of multicultural or generational
Mhm.
families
Yes. Yeah.
living with each other because they can't afford to live.
Yep.
We have grandparents living with their kids and their kids. So
Yep.
3
Yeah.
generations in one house. That
Wow.
ADU would come in really, really handy.
Yeah.
So we see that a lot. I
Well,
think.
they're making it easier to do it, and,
Yeah.
and they're even easier to finance them now.
Good.
But there doesn't seem to be a lot of move to it, I guess, which is too bad because I think if you have it,
Yeah.
you can make some money off your property,
Yes.
you can rent it,
Yep.
you can do lots of things with it,
VRBOs.
and it
Yeah.
helps,
Yep.
and it helps our overall housing issue. The biggest problem, I think, is for seniors. Where do seniors go when you want to downsize? You talk about downsizing, upsizing.
Yep.
Where does someone go who's in their 80s and has to leave their home?
Yeah,
It's very, very limited in all these kinds of additional alternative housing.
that one subdivision in Central Point, we showed a few that are those single level, just
Age-friendly.
age-friendly homes.
Yeah,
One
yep,
level.
yep.
And we thought that would be perfect for our campfire
Uh-huh.
folks,
Didn't
and
like it.
they didn't. They
They
ended
just
up
didn't
in
like it.
East Medford Hills. But it was, perfect in our eyes,
Yeah.
but for them it wasn't.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's senior housing coming out of the ground. A lot
Yep.
of new
Yeah.
construction over in Central Point for that.
Well, I hope that people take advantage of them, and
Yeah,
because it's a real problem.
it is.
There's not many places to go.
I'm going to be looking for
Or
one
you
before
end
too long.
up, or we're all going to end up,
Somewhere.
Eventually.
Eventually.
Yeah, somewhere. And I know how it goes. Well, there's just what's dynamic about the real estate market is that it's so right now dynamic in so many ways of pricing and housing. And there's more inventory right now, and the demand I don't think is going down. Do you? I mean, I
No.
don't see that at all. For the first of the year, I know I've talked about myself being so busy.
Yep.
I've never had so much business at the beginning of the year. Usually it takes a while to get
Months.
going.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
this year
agree.
seems so different to me.
Jackson County's been discovered.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No
Is-
doubt.
maybe that's what
Yeah.
it is.
It's a great place to live.
Yeah.
Well, our secret,
true.
especially with these fires that have been out, and we're the first community over the
Stop.
border
Yep.
Yep.
Absolutely.
out of California.
Absolutely.
And look at your other options in Oregon. You want to try to buy a house in Portland?
No.
No.
Oh man, that's
No.
way overpriced. Any place up there,
And
is-
48 inches of rain.
right? Yeah.
So-
So,
Or-
but
yeah.
Or Eugene.
Eugene, tons of rain.
24 inches of rain.
we're
No
still
thanks.
incredibly affordable and incredibly
Yeah.
desirable in our little pocket of Oregon
Yep.
for sure.
And I always tell everybody, we're an hour and a half from the coast, hour from the Redwoods, hour and a half from Crater Lake, hour and a half from Mount Shasta. All these beautiful, gorgeous rivers and lakes. I mean, it's just like the perfect
that's-
little pocket.
And that's why people love it.
Yep.
And that's why they want to come
Yep.
because they want what we have.
Yes.
and what we have enjoyed.
Yes.
And let's just make sure we don't mess it up.
Uh-huh.
For the future. And we've come a long way. Anyway, we got a break coming up here. We're with Terry and Karen Toner from Team Toner from John L. Scott on our Market Watch show today. When we come back, we're going to talk about staging with you guys. I want to hear your comments about that.
Sure.
If you want to get most for your money on a sale, you got to look at staging a home, and we're going to talk about that and a whole lot more when the Real Estate Show continues here on KCMX. Don't forget, you can check out any of our past shows at realestateshoworegon.com. We're coming right back to KCMX after this. And welcome back to the Real Estate Show on KCMX News Media 880. Pete Belcaster and Joe Brett, the real estate guys, with you. Thanks for joining us today. Happy New Year to you all as well. As 2019 is underway. Ain't no going back. We're going forward.
In the words of our
Forward.
legendary leader Jeff Rogers, time to roll up our sleeves.
Yeah, we've got to
That was
roll
our-
those
that was our
sleeves.
Christmas party message.
Roll up those sleeves. Get to work. Anyway, we're with Karen Toner and Terry Toner on our John L. Scott Market Watch show today. First segment, we talked about the market. Certainly learned it's dynamic, it's strong, and all of those kind of things as we've been talking about in our two market world. And we'll have the next week. Actually, we'll have the latest MLS stats out and kind of update you on what those are because they never lie. They kind of they kind of paint that picture for us, as you know. Well, anyway, one of the things that I really want to share with you is that we were talking with ran into Terry in the hallway with the office one day, and we were talking about staging. And when you go into homes, I can't tell you how many houses I've gone into, and the first thing you say to them is, "Boy, you got way too much stuff here," and those kind of
Declutter.
things. Declutter. What's the thing with that, Karen, Terry, and decluttering and making your home? I mean, it's something that we just allow so much crap to come in our house, and it just makes it a mess.
It does. It does.
He always has a good line. Your home is your product.
Well,
Yeah.
it's still your home. You're still
Yeah.
living there, but it has now become a product.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to make it presentable to someone else that wants to buy that product. So the personal photos, all the stuff stacked up on the counters, you got to get all that off so they can see the home and not all of your stuff.
Yeah.
And it comes in various degrees of maybe rearranging some furniture or
Painting.
some painting, but you're really creating a product instead of, hey, this is the place I drop all my stuff when I come home from the store.
Yeah. And you get much resistance on some of that sometimes? I mean, I always wonder that.
I was going to say, I know immediately when I walk into a home that's staged and presented and
Yeah.
prepared properly.
Yes.
It's as soon as you walk
Yep.
in the door, you can tell yay or nay.
And the stats show it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. So I don't know if we can get this, Joe, or not. But okay, this comes from the homestagingresource.com. Okay, as we can follow this, it says that 68%. Right, 68% of staged homes sold for at least 9% more than their unstaged neighbor's home. Okay,
9%.
So 68%
That's a
of the
lot.
staged homes sold for at least 9% more than those that were not staged.
Yeah.
$300,000 home, that's
Yeah.
$30,000 almost.
That's $30,000 on a $300,000
Right.
house.
Yeah. It's a national
Okay.
average.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
national
Yeah.
thing. I
Right.
understand
Yeah,
that.
4,200 realtors were interviewed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For it. Yeah.
So that tells us,
Yeah. Stage your home.
okay. But
Yeah.
how do you stage a home? I know there's different ways. So what is your advice? I guess that's what I really want from you two. Is what's your advice to people when you go into a home and what do you see and where do you start? Tell us what you would do because I know you start a business for this as well. That you're
Starting.
because you see it so often.
We need it.
We
Yeah.
need it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me what you do.
Mostly with vacant homes, of course, it looks more livable, and that's a great thing.
A
But
nicer product when it's
Yeah.
got some furniture in it so you can.
yeah, but when they are
visualize.
living there, we definitely say, if you move that lazy boy chair out to the garage or into storage, that would be great. Or all that clutter on the kitchen counter needs to be put away. Or if you don't use it every single day, we tell them to put it away.
Yep.
We tell them to put away their personal pictures.
All the personal pictures. I've heard that so often. In fact,
Yeah.
I did that when sold my house. I did that. I took everything that was a picture of me. What? I took everything down. Okay,
Family,
family,
yeah.
There's a lot of
family.
pictures of
So now the
themselves.
pictures
Yeah.
of me up there. The family.
And not 100%, but
Right.
if your hallway has got all this family photos, we've had clients actually stop looking at the photos, and now they're not looking at the house.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Dude, do I know this guy? Do I
Yeah.
know that lady? And
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it detracts from the saleability of the house because
Correct.
they're not looking at the house anymore. They're looking at the photos.
All
But
right.
it starts at the front yard.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. For
You're,
sure.
when you start staging and thinking of this product, when I get out of my vehicle, what am I looking at?
Curb ready. That
So
is-
staging is not just the inside of the house. It's not just the inside of the
Yeah,
house. You're really
it's the
talking
outside
from
as
the
well.
curb,
Yep.
the curb in.
Curb
Correct.
appeal,
Okay.
paint.
Makes sense because if you see a pretty shoddy appearance of your first impression when you
Yep.
step out of the car and look at it, it might not help your chances. Once you get inside, you might not see past that.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah.
A lot of people will say, I don't even want to look inside because I don't even like the outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if
It's a first impression
Yeah.
deal.
we always have them plant flowers, touch up the front door if it needs it, paint, trim if it needs it
Yep.
prior to us listing.
So you walk around the
Oh, yeah.
house and the outside
Absolutely.
with your sellers, and you're pointing these things out.
Yep.
And
And they're very amenable to your advice.
Yeah,
and
what
you
is
never get
that?
any pushback from them.
Never.
Or never have to help or coerce them to get
No.
to that point. I imagine that's part of it too.
Well,
Sometimes.
some of this stuff costs some money.
Right.
Some people I can't afford that. Well, we'll just deal with it later.
But you do walk around and show what's
Correct.
out
Yeah.
there, and it's pretty simple to get rid of. I mean, to change bushes away from your house. The biggest things are downspouts that come out and are not working right. Those kinds of things
Some
make
bark.
it just a little bit around
Yeah,
it.
some
Some
bark.
bark would make flowers or
Bark
things
and
like
flowers.
that.
Yep.
Because I mean, we've all had that experience, and the worst thing you want to do is you're with some clients and maybe they haven't seen the house. They walk. We're going to go look at it or drive by it, and they don't like it. They don't even want to get out.
Correct.
You don't
Yeah.
want that to happen.
We've
So-
had it happen.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
we've all had it happen,
Yeah.
and that's the worst thing that you can do, especially from a seller, because that
Yeah.
means you haven't done anything with it.
And
Yeah.
we come back around, we talk about deferred maintenance. You're going to pay for it eventually in
Yep.
the sale of your house.
Yep.
So you're talking about putting a little money in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Those statistics that we just showed, showed that staging and that effort going forward, you might even make yourself some money
Yes.
by spending that money as opposed to
And what it actually costs.
people not even getting inside to take a look.
Yep.
And what it actually costs is usually a whole lot more than the buyer's perceived of what it's going to cost.
Right.
Yeah.
They
Right.
say, well, that's going to be thousands of dollars.
Yeah,
well,
right.
it's a few $100 to spruce this up
Yeah.
and make it look nice.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, good point.
Home improvement items recommended. Okay, what are you going to recommend? What is recommended to homeowners the most when it comes to staging? Okay, I get to ask. I know the answers, but I'm going to ask you three if you know. Okay,
Uh-oh.
so home improvement items that are recommended the most. Number one, you already said it several times. Declutter.
Yeah,
Declutter.
declutter.
Declutter. 93% say declutter the home.
Cheap to do.
Number two, clean the house. Entirely clean the house.
Clean the house.
So true.
It
Isn't
seems
that?
mind-boggling. You want me to clean my house before I sell it? What?
Or my house is clean.
Yeah, or they think their house is
Yeah,
clean.
yeah.
Yeah.
89%
Yeah.
clean the house.
Yeah.
Number three,
Paint.
clean the carpets.
cleaning.
Clean
carpet.
the
Yeah.
carpets.
I would.
That is probably, I would say, so many times we have clients and they notice the carpets.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if they're dirty and if they look
Yeah.
bad, boy, that doesn't help. That doesn't help you selling the thing. Okay, other ones. Let's see. Give me just a couple more. Remove pets during showings.
Yes.
Yes.
Minor repairs.
Yeah.
Correct.
Terry talked about that.
Yeah.
Depersonalize items.
Yeah.
We
Correct.
talked about that. Landscape the outdoor area. God, you
Correct.
went
Boy, we
4 for
Hey,
4.
we've been doing this a while.
We must know what we're doing.
Painting the walls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, if you, yeah, absolutely.
Fresh paint. And paint's
paint
cheap.
touch-ups.
Yeah.
Professional photos. We all do that. I mean, professional photos
Yeah.
you want,
Nice
absolutely. And I love this one, grouting.
Yeah.
You want to grout. Okay,
You
gotta
grout the tile.
Grout the
Yeah.
tile in the bathrooms.
And you know
people notice those things.
The carpet can get addressed with an allowance.
Yes.
Yes.
As
yeah.
long as.
But nobody wants to do that work. It seems like too. You know,
Yeah.
buyers want it fresh and clean
Yeah, I
and
wanna
ready to
move in
move in
and
and not
Go
have to
on
do
with
anything.
my life.
Yep.
Yeah, and
Yep.
we get that a lot.
Yeah, right. Okay. The impact of buyers viewing a staged home. Okay? So it's okay, 77% say it's easier to visualize a property as their future home when it is staged. 77%, right? That makes
I
sense.
believe it.
40% say they're more willing to walk through a home they saw online. Right?
Yeah.
By 40%. 38% say they will proactively impact the home's value if the home is decorated to a buyer's taste. Which we're talking about that. Overlook other property faults if it's staged, you know, because buyers are looking for faults. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
when you walk
Always
around a house, and it will negatively impact the home value if the decorated agent's buyer's taste. So you don't want to do that. Yeah. Anyway, those are just some of the things that you do with
You know
that.
what really caught my ear there is the online. There's
Presents.
a lot of
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
are making up their mind when
Oh,
they
yeah.
look online where they're going to set foot or take their time. And there's a lot of choices out there, and they have a limited amount of time that they can get their kids and everybody together to go look at these properties. So, boy, your chances of getting them in your door are greatly improved if you have a good. You present your
Presence.
product
And they're
online.
looking for videos now, not
True.
just static
Yeah,
photos.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been
videos,
those have
walkthroughs.
exploded, and the techniques
Drone,
and the
the
abilities
drone footage.
and the
Aerial
360
footage.
cameras and
Correct.
full view cameras. that are
Technology.
involved.
Yeah, we've started doing Matterports,
Yep.
where you know, especially on 2 or 3 level homes.
Yeah.
Yep.
We have
Yeah.
3 of them right now that have different levels, and to see that Matterport technology in place is
It's
just
incredible.
amazing.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot to
Yeah.
it, and there's a lot more to this than you actually think.
Oh, yeah.
Of what it takes to get it out
Behind
there
the
and
scenes.
present the home
Correct.
in the best light it can. There's even a website, I think it was called BigBrownie.com, that'll take a photograph and turn it into a nighttime photograph for you.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just, geez, it's
Yeah.
just, it's remarkable what can be done. But all that is staging is what's needed today to compete for a sale.
To stand out.
We don't just sit here and talk about that. If you don't do it, you're going to get less money, take longer to sell your house, right? In the end,
Correct.
in the end, that's what it comes down to.
9% less.
Yeah.
9% less, and who wants to sell it for 9% less?
Nobody.
Boy,
You?
that's
No.
you think about you're paying off your margins and everything
Yeah.
that's associated with that. That
Yeah.
9%, is that money in your pocket or not?
Just before we have a break coming up here, but the cost to stage something, generally, what do people look at? And I've heard different things from 1% of the total cost to 3%. It can be really depending on what you want into. But tell me, how's that done?
Well, we're just starting our staging business, and it's called Stage with a Style, or Stage with Style.
Stage was
Stage with style.
Yeah. And we have two different options. One is a price per square foot. So we'll do a bedroom and a bedroom,
Okay.
and a living room, dining room, kitchen, and 2 bathrooms.
Okay.
You know, just a regular 2,000 square foot home.
very
Okay.
simple.
Very simple. Or we can do, it's called a 3-2-1. For $300, we will stage 2 bathrooms and a kitchen, 100% gorgeous, and that is going to be very, very helpful. I think. Just
Yeah.
And what are the most important rooms to stage again? You just
kitchen
said
and
that.
kitchen and
Kitchen and
bathrooms.
The kitchen
Yep.
and the bathrooms
Yeah.
are the most important
Yep.
rooms
Absolutely.
to stage.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. So we have boxes ready to go.
You're ready to go.
Just-
I would not have thought of that. I
Yeah.
would not. I would not have
That's
said
the
that.
last 2 things I look at.
Yeah.
But I'm different
Yeah.
than your standard.
Yeah.
I would not have thought that. I would have
Yeah.
thought it would have been, I guess, a living
Living
room, but that
room.
really, or a family room. But that maybe
Then you're
the-
bringing in big furniture, and the cost.
the cost then
Yeah.
goes
Goes
up.
up,
You
yeah.
don't really need to do that. It's
Yeah.
staging it
Yeah.
to where it's presentable to a potential buyer.
Yes.
And that living room
Yeah.
area, they're wanting to visualize their furniture there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How
you
they're
bet.
going to have it laid out. And
Yep.
if you put in a bunch of furniture that they don't like that style,
Yeah.
immediately that
Okay.
product is, well, it's out of my mind because I don't
Yeah.
like
Yep,
that.
yep.
Yeah.
Who's got the better taste of you two?
Oh, she does.
That didn't take long.
No,
Of
no.
course. Look at him. I mean,
Bada bing.
Oh,
you know, we-
30 years.
Well, that didn't take long for him to answer that,
Yeah.
Karen. So that was really good. We got a break coming up here. We're with Karen Toner and Terry Toner here in the John L. Scott Market Watch Show. Learning lots today here as we start the new year and a new selling season. Hope that you're learning something as well. We're coming right back here to KCMX after this. And welcome back to the Real Estate Show, our final segment here on KCMX today, January the 5th. Happy New Year to you all. Hope it's going to be a terrific 2019. Pete Belcaster and Joe Brett, the real estate guys, with you. Don't forget, you can check out any of our past shows at realestateshowOregon.com. You can sign up for our newsletter there as well, with some good information every week for you, including we put our shows there, so you can go back and check them or send them to your friends as well. A lot of shows. We've done almost 500, or heading towards 500 this year, actually. You know that?
It's a few laps around the track, that's for sure.
Well, when we started, much like you, in real estate, think about this. You both with 2008, 9, 10. I mean, it was pretty bleak. When we started our show, most of the sales were short sales and foreclosures in July of 2009.
Yeah.
Wow.
Most of the sales were those. Remember that?
Yes.
And how far we've watched it come over these years to the point where it has not only recovered, and 98% of people in Jackson County have equity in their homes.
Correct.
Now we're seeing the movement coming from foreclosures that have ended, bankruptcies that have ended, fires in California.
Yeah.
We are just going to be, I believe, like Lennox Scott has said in our meetings, this is going to be a big year. I don't care what anybody says. Jackson County, Josephine County, and Klamath County are going to experience, I think, a big real estate year. Do you think I'm crazy on that? Tell me what you think.
No, I 100% agree.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's really, I think, a good thing.
Oh, yeah.
But what are they going to buy? So tell me right now, what are you seeing in listings? They're down a little bit, right around 1,000. That is more than we've had.
Mm-hmm.
But
It is wintertime.
Tell me what you think of where it's going to go.
Yeah, wintertime.
Yeah, wintertime's historically slower. Fewer people want to have their house on the market while the holidays and families in town. But give it another few weeks. We're going to be looking into spring, and the market is really going to.
Well, remember, we just finished the slowest 2 months of the year, November and December. We're in January, and you can see the uptick of listings and interest and things like that. So I just think it's going to be really quite a year. I just worry about if we have enough listings or what's going to be out there.
We have a little more inventory, and I think we've got some buyers that have kind of rode out the peak of home prices, and they've come back down. And even tracking Grants Pass like I have been,
Yeah.
I'm seeing those properties come back a little bit into the range of people I'm working with.
Yeah.
Can viably do, and we want good loans, and we want good buyers, and we want
Yeah.
people in homes. But I think they're out there, and the buyers are getting a little better go. I think they'll have a little better purchasing power if interest rates stay where they are.
Well, interest- yeah,
get
yeah.
them a good year to get in the game before it gets further along.
I agree.
Interest rates need to stay.
Yeah.
Where they
Well, they even drop. When the stock market drops, remember the interest rates drop back down below 5% there. So, as long as they stay that way, it's certainly going to be affordable. The biggest thing, one of my concerns, is really the luxury market. And I don't sell a lot in that $1 million places up there, but my goodness, they're all over. The amount of inventory in the luxury market is just shocking. It's got a 2-year supply.
Yes.
More than that, 2-year supply. There's nobody buying these properties right now. And I'm still wondering if it's a result of the new tax laws that went in, which limited you to so much deduction off your taxes and things like that. But what is it?
We don't know.
Why is there so many on the market?
Yeah.
And they're not selling in the city. They've sold some in the rural areas, over $1 million. I
farms.
appreciate that. But in the urban areas that we keep track of in our offices, it's zero.
Yeah.
It's zero.
And we know the people are coming.
Yeah.
People that typically have bought those homes before.
Maybe they don't want them anymore.
Very affordably.
They
very,
want smaller homes.
Very
They want
well within their
smaller.
range.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the
Yeah,
answer.
yeah,
They're wanting to
yeah.
downsize a little and not have
It's
the,
interesting that they're
the
not
big maintenance.
They're not picking the high fruit, the top.
Well,
The
there's some
day-
great buys out there, though.
Yeah,
We just
yeah.
listed 3 high-end homes, Jacksonville and 2 on Pioneer Hills. And that same morning we went in to pitch them. Jim Remley had a meeting saying, 700 and above, nothing selling. And I'm like, oh, great.
Yeah, good news.
But you know what? The right buyer will walk
yeah.
through
Oh,
those
sure.
doors
Yeah, they're
and they will
gorgeous.
take it because
yeah.
they recognize the value.
Yeah.
Well, they're certainly looking. I mean,
Yeah.
they're
Yes.
certainly looking,
Yep.
and that takes the right buyer to do that. Point being is that even that part of the housing market, the luxury market, is probably changed, been affected more than any other segment, I would say, as a
I agree.
result of this. And it's right now it's just kind of surprising
Be
how much
interesting
there
to know
is.
how much of the 3.3 billion in sales that luxury market was, because
I bet it
they
wasn't
can
that
make
much.
some big chunks with
Yeah.
those
They
sales.
can.
But I bet the bulk of it was down there
5 or less.
5 or less.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, there were some big sales in the valley over the year, in rural properties,
Yeah.
but certainly not like was before the marijuana boom came
Yeah.
through.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just like insanity
Yeah.
for a while, and that's changed, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Rural properties have changed
It
again.
has.
We
were-
see those 20, 30 plant grow sites just sitting vacant.
Sitting
Yeah.
vacant.
Yep.
And we've said that on our show. We know that's happening. There, you have to remove you got to remove all that stuff before you can even sell them.
Yes.
But the hemp
can't
market,
finance them.
the hemp market may pick some of those up because there are some opportunities opening with ease of federal
hope.
regulations and things like that. That's an industry that could thrive down here, and that's
It could.
That's the non-marijuana
Yeah.
element of the plant.
Well, we'll see where that goes because it certainly has an effect on our rural properties, and I don't think that's going to change. But they've lowered in price overall.
Correct.
Their value has risen less, and the demand seems to have slowed down for that. So for some reason, a
The
little
bubble
bit.
burst.
The
Yeah.
bubble
Yeah,
has
I
burst.
wonder.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
just and it's a shame,
Yeah.
and it's our own fault. It's the OLCC's fault on this, but we don't want to get into that. We'll hold that discussion
Another day.
for another day.
That's another show.
But we love having them as our neighbors down at John L. Scott. They have that
Yes.
Bedford Center, that
Yes.
security parking lot they have
Where
there.
they
I
have
just
to
love
park.
that.
I know it. Hilarious.
Anyway,
Your tax dollars at work.
we'll see where we go. Well, we're all with the cool part about both of you. You're pretty optimistic. This is going to be
Oh,
a
yes.
good year.
Great
Yeah.
year.
You've started your staging business, so that's really good. I wish you well with
Good
that.
luck with that.
Thank
And how can someone get a hold of you guys? And you can always Google Karen Toner, Team Toner, Terry Toner. You can
Yep.
Google them as well, but
Yeah.
they can also find you how.
Phone is, can I do that?
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
541-890-5441 is mine.
Yeah,
541-890-6187.
Yep.
and that's how to get a hold of you.
Yeah.
Correct.
I'm thinking
Cell
it's going to be
phones.
a good year.
Yes.
I think we're going to see a lot of. I'm hoping new, smaller units coming in, additional dwelling units. We didn't talk about the vacation rental market at all. That is still thriving. In fact, Daniel Perry's going to be joining us in a couple of weeks, Joe, for a
Excellent.
show again on that. So we'll update you on the short-term rental market.
We
It's
have-
still. You have some of those.
We have a VBRO that makes $95,000 a year, and she barely has it full. It's gorgeous. It's $600,000
Yeah.
in Southwest Medford Hills on a couple acres, fully furnished,
Fully furnished.
and that much money. You
Yeah.
can
Wow.
make, that's
90,000
amazing.
Yeah, it
a year.
really is.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, if vacation rentals, if you
Yep.
can do them and get them for a price and
Yeah.
everything, it makes a great deal of sense. As we talk about the rental market and how you versus rental markets, how that's changed the rental market and fees and everything else. So, and it's changing. Governments are getting more involved with this, so you want to do it now
Yeah.
in the vacation rental market.
And don't
before-
do one. Well, I shouldn't say that.
No.
But in
d-
Jacksonville.
you can't do them in Jacksonville.
No.
You can't do them in Ashland
Yeah.
either,
Well,
hardly.
If
Yeah.
they're in the historic core, you can.
Yeah,
Of
okay.
Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, see, that Jacksonville comes back to
Boy,
Jacksonville.
the Pioneer
again.
Hills, though,
Yeah.
they've
Yeah.
got some beautiful places out there.
Gorgeous.
That's
This house,
perfect for
it's like a
that.
Tuscan villa in Southern Oregon.
Yeah.
And vacation rental
Yeah.
by owner.
I might book it.
Amazing. You should. You should buy it. You should buy it and pay it
I'd be
off.
better off to book it.
We should give a shout out to the John L. Scott office.
Oh, my gosh,
And
yes.
Jim Rimley, our
Principal broker.
principal broker, our owners, our staff there. It's just an awesome company. It's like a family there.
Yeah.
It really is.
It is a fun place to be. I have
Correct.
enjoyed my 5.5 years there unbelievably.
They help us help our
They
clients
help
immensely.
everyone,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
learn so much.
And we
I-
couldn't do what we do without them
No.
Yeah.
at all.
No.
No,
At
we
all.
have to have them.
I've enjoyed my time there as well. Okay,
Yeah.
hey, we're out of time. We got to go. So thanks, Karen
Great show.
and Terry.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for being with us, and we'll do it again sometime. We'll check out the staging again and see how you're
Yeah.
doing. And be aware that stage your place somewhat. Just don't let it go because you're not going to get the money for it that you want.
Yep.
That'll do it for the Real Estate Show for January the 5th, our first show of the year. For Pete and Joe, have a great week, everybody. God bless you all. We'll talk to you next Saturday right back here on the Real Estate Show.
God bless.